Hey everyone, this is Nitro. In this video, I'm going to clear the second plot battle of the Reichenbach Veil of Conspiracy events. This one's called Black Nightmare. Let's get started. The street was crowded just before and now it's deadly silent. It appears the military has issued a notice that they will cooperate with the police to ensure that all the civilians return home to avoid danger. Good. If everyone stays in their homes, it will make our investigations easier. That socialite's mansion is not far from here. Let's start there. You look like you're pondering something again. If you've obtained any useful information, share it with me. While I don't expect you to be of any real help, I suppose explaining the clues is another way of thinking, so I'll tell you. You jerk. The professor's corpse showed no signs of any kind of poisoning or the ingestion of drugs. The entire body was covered in blood, and there were multiple wounds at the front. But the wounds weren't very serious, aside from the chest, where a dagger was plunged in, pinning a book to him. That's rough. It seems like the professor struggled with the murderer and tried to use the book as a shield, but the dagger penetrated straight through it. There was a ladder next to the corpse, too. Also, the professor's hands were tied behind his back with a cord, and another cord was tied around his neck. It looked as though it was prepared specially for a hanging. But the other end had snapped, and that end was identical to that of the cord connecting to the lights that hung from the stage. It seems to have snapped by itself due to gravity, as there were no signs of it being cut. Also, there were bloodstains on the snapped part of the cord that hung from the stage. The strange thing is that at the end of this cord was pressed into the inside of the professor's arm. If the cord had snapped while the professor hung from it, and it fell down along with his body, it should have fallen either to the outside of his arm or beside him. That is strange, but what I'm wondering is, was the professor hung or stabbed to death? There were no bruises on the neck of the corpse to indicate being hanged, only some superficial strangulation marks. His organs also did not show the common features of a hanged corpse, so we can confirm that it wasn't death by hanging. And it looks like after killing the professor, the murderer used the stepladder on the stage to hang the corpse to show it to the audience. But the light cord couldn't bear the weight, and so it snapped, resulting in the body falling to the stage. How nasty. Although I suppose a man like the professor deserved it. Of course he deserved it. However, this kind of murder should not be condoned. This is a criminal case, Madame Officer. Yes, of course, I understand. The last time we saw the professor alive was before he went behind the stage. At that time, all the servants aside from the professor's personal maid had already left the venue. Only the guests were present. And when we saw the professor again, he was already a corpse on the stage. So it seems that the only ones who had an opportunity to commit the crime were the guests present. Oh? How can you be so quick to rule out the maid and the two of us as suspects? Tss, tss, tss. Is it my turn to reason now? Detective, don't you know the 10 principles of detective novels? One of them is detectives cannot be murderers. Besides, we haven't separated once since arriving here, so naturally we're cleared of suspicion. Huh? Well, I don't know what you're talking about. I do agree with your conclusion that we're cleared of suspicion. As for the maid, thanks to you, I was highly alert the entire time. I observed everyone who was present. I'm quite sure that the maid never left the venue from beginning to end. She only disappeared from my sights when the power went out, and that was very brief, certainly too brief to commit the crime. Ha! It seems that leaving the police department has restored your brain to its full functionality. I must applaud you. Can't you just give me some ordinary praise without the insults? We're almost there. That socialite's mansion is just the next street over. Wait, something is wrong. Help! Help! A civilian? What? What happened? A terrifying black smoke has appeared outside the city, and it's pouring in here. Into the city? But this is not the outer area, and the black smoke should still be far away, right? Fiends. A bunch of fiends suddenly appeared on the street. All the police have been sent to deal with the black smoke. No one is here to stop them. Someone managed to escape here? Now hand over your valuables and I'll spare your lives! What a mess. The professor has been dead for less than an hour and the criminals in the city are already at large? Yeah, the professor committed many crimes, but he was a criminal with taste. Much better than these guys who have nothing to say but cliches. What the? You reckless bastards! Come on, let's show them who rules the city now! Ah, help! Help us! Alright. Defeat all enemies, all your units are defeated, or any villagers defeated. Okay, pretty straightforward. Let's just begin then. What's that? Unflinching. Okay. Protect the civilians. Backbreaker. And fire! Alright. And detective can summon a dummy. In hypnosis. Stun the enemy for combat. Okay. So maybe I'll just guard to start. And maybe just drop the dummy here. Right. So the civilians run away. And the dummy gets hit. Okay, so start with a backbreaker attack. And I guess I'll just hypnosis kill. Oops. Officer gets hit twice because he was busy guarding. That's fine though. End the turn. The dummy will self-destruct and damage these enemies. And then I can have a detective attack. And the officer attack. Huh. Not quite enough damage to kill. Alright. That's fine though. I mean, at this point I'm clearly just finishing off these two enemies. Okay. What's wrong with this guy? Is he insane? Whatever. Let's just drop another dummy. And have it interned. And maybe I'll just continue to backbreaker this fiend. It revives. Oh. But it just disappears after you kill him. This guy seems to be surrounded by traces of black smoke. It seems he was exposed to the smoke. Could this be the cause of his insanity? It's very likely. I remember that the professor owned some secret factories making illegal drugs outside the city. Maybe the black smoke came from there. Now it's cleared. Who's there? Show your face. Ah! No, don't hit me! You're the maid. Why are you here? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to follow you. I am an orphan. The professor adopted me. He gave me everything. He was too kind to die like this. I was at the banquet. Mr. Detective, you and the professor had a spirited chat. You must be close to the professor. You call that brawl at first sight a spirited chat? Please take me with you. I can cook, do the laundry, and do all the housework. I want to help find out who murdered the professor. Fine. The city is not safe tonight. You may follow us. Thank you. I will definitely help you find the murderer. But remember, you are not to do anything without my permission, even if you think you are offering help. I don't want any clues to be destroyed by a hyperactive baboon in a maid costume. A baboon in a maid costume? Don't mind, miss. He didn't mean that. infinity crystals. Alright, then our 3-person detective team has officially been established. Oh! Be quiet, ladies. Now is not the time to celebrate. There's something I want to ask you, Miss Maid. Please go ahead. If I can be of any help at all, I will do my best. What was the cause of the power outage? The power outage was due to a fuse burning out. As for why the fuse burned out, I checked it out after fixing the circuit. The problem was the old record player. Its circuits seemed to have worn out. So it didn't make any sound, and activating the curtains while it was turned on caused it to short circuit and finally blow out the fuse. Well, your explanation makes sense. The power did indeed go out a few seconds after the curtains were activated. It appears that this was the cause of the power outage. Then was it really just a coincidence? But after the professor went backstage, I turned on the switch to adjust the position of the curtains. The power didn't go out then. Perhaps later on, someone was interested in this antique record player and accidentally switched it on. If only I had checked the equipment carefully in advance, maybe the professor wouldn't have... Oh, this is a useful clue. Interesting. I should mention that the professor was probably already dead by the time the power went out, so even if you checked it a dozen times over, it wouldn't have changed anything. Ah! Can't you spare a little sympathy for the feelings of someone close to the deceased? You know what sympathy is, right? It seems that this maid doesn't know about the evil things the professor did. Don't say too much. Those victims of the professor are the ones who deserve sympathy. But I won't say anymore. It's time to get to business. Oh, this. So this is the mansion of the socialite. Alright, let's go in. Alright, so in the detective section, I guess a whole bunch of new clues have been added. About the professor's body, right? About the broken light cord that they just discussed. And about the record player. The short circuit thing. Alright, so that is it for now. Thanks for watching, everyone. Nitro out.